Hey, it is Dr. Kre, and I am here for our latest edition of the Dr. Kre and Me show. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can't wait to share some insight with you guys. Today we're going to be talking about church and COVID-19. It really is a thing, guys. Like, the world is starting to open back up, and we want to make sure that you are prepared as much as you can be. So when you come on in, make sure you say hi and let me know that you're watching. Let me know that you're watching, and let me know where you are watching from, so that we can love on you and celebrate you. Hey, Miss Williams, I see the restaurant getting ready to open. Hey, Michelle, how are you doing? How y'all doing today? We're going to talk about COVID-19 and the church. A lot of places are opening back up, okay? And we want to make sure that they are doing it in a safe way. Hey, Cynthia, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, guys. And I just want to, hi, Shantae. We're going to get started talking about church and COVID-19. Where is Derek? No, it's close. Hey, Danielle, because that's close to us, right? So today we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and the church, right? We're going to be talking about that. We are excited about that. Hey, Miss Elegant Diamond. Yes. This is Dr. Kre. I am your board certified family medicine physician. I specialize in helping everyday people live healthy, happy, whole lives. And I feel like through that, we do education. So when you know better, guys, you can actually do better, right? So I wanted to come on and talk about church and COVID-19. How many of you guys have had your church services to go ahead on and open up? Has church resumed in person yet? If your church has resumed in person, let us know. Put down that you've been actually back to church in real life. We have not. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. Our church has been closed since March, sometimes in March, and we have been doing social distancing. So if you are like me, I am so excited, and I can't wait till whenever church does open, or whenever I can get back into church, because church is one of my absolute favorite places. It's my happy place. However, guys, we got to be safe with that. We got to be safe. Hey, guys, thank you for joining this, the latest edition of the Dr. Kre and Me show. So first of all, I wanted to talk to you guys and let you all know that coronavirus, COVID-19 is actually still here. It's still live. It's still in effect. If you are in Alabama, we have less and less ICU beds that are available. All of these things are concerning. But then there's also the civil unrest that we have. There's also protesters everywhere. There's also funerals starting to happen in less graveside funerals. Some people are going into the church. If you watch the George Floyd funeral in Minnesota, it was like a normal funeral. So a lot of things are picking back up and becoming more normal. But how do you survive that during this time? Okay, so first things first. If your church is open, or if your church is considering open, remember that just because the world is opening up, just because the world is doing its thing, that does not mean that coronavirus just magically went away. It is still there, guys. It is still there. And if you're African American, you're already at a higher risk for getting sick. There's this old saying that when America gets a cold, Black America gets the flu. So everybody else may get a little sick, and then here we are, full out sick, gotta stay home from work, the whole nine. You get that, what I'm saying. So first things first, if your church is opening back up, make sure that you do social distancing. So if you have your pews in there, some churches don't have chairs, individual chairs. Some churches are good down home country churches, and you have pews, and those pews are stuck down in the floor. So you can't take those away. So if you're a person of authority, and you can, make sure that you measure off what 6 feet is and are diligent to stay 6 feet apart. You almost have to keep a measuring tape in your pocket, right, guys? So make sure, hey, Miss Brenda, how you doing? Make sure that you are being mindful that you're 6 feet away, because remember, people are gonna be crying, people are gonna be sneezing, they're gonna be coughing. Those are all bodily fluids. They're gonna be opening their mouth and singing or praising the Lord, and if you're too close to them, you get all their respiratory droplets all on them. You sitting in front of them, pews are closed. So if I sneeze, that's all on them. And I'm in front of you, I'm sitting in front of you, and you sitting behind me, and you sneezing all on the back of my neck. And then I wipe my neck and I rub my eye, then guess what? I can have coronavirus. So number one, social distancing is still necessary. 6 feet is 6 feet, guys, okay? It is 6 feet. So number two is you should be wearing your mask. I've seen on Facebook where people say, no, I'm not putting my nose inside the mask because we can't breathe. I can't breathe. I have allergies. I have sinuses. Y'all, cover your nose up. Here is a mask. This is up. Make sure that when you look at your mask, you are looking at it and this is backwards. This is right side up. Cover your nose up. Put the mask on, right, guys? Pinch your nose in, especially if you wear glasses. Pinch your nose in. You don't have to pull this down to talk. You can hear me well, right? You can hear me through the mask. So all this, you taking it down, you don't have to do any of that. Make sure that you're wearing your mask right. Make sure you're not constantly pulling it down. Make sure it fits. So a lot of people have masks that they are, hey, Miss Lisa. A lot of people have masks that are the homemade masks. And so they may not fit you really good. So you either may need to use it as a mask covering to cover up your mask. If you want to be cute that day, wear it as a mask covering. But make sure it fits so you're not just naturally tugging on it, okay? Because you want to keep your hands out of your face as much as you can. So number one, social distancing is still necessary, right? Number two, wear your mask. Wear an appropriately fitting mask. Wear the mask right side up, not upside down. Like, wear the mask the correct way. And if you have homemade masks, make sure to try the mask on so that you're not pulling at it and tugging it and doing all of those things, right? So make sure you wear your mask. Masks are important. In this day and age, what we're sure of is that social distancing helps, and we know that wearing masks helps. There's a shortage on all these drugs that they're trying. These are experimental drugs. Hey, Dr. Christina. These are experimental drugs, guys. So there's not an abundance of the antiviral medications. Hey, Dr. Lucci. There's not an abundance of these medications. So I couldn't get them if I'm just a layman's person. You're only giving these medicines to people that are the sickest of the sickest that are in the hospital. So what we're sure of, we're sure that social distancing works. We're sure that masking works, especially if I have on my mask and you have on your mask. So, social distancing is still necessary. To wear your mask appropriately, and wear your mask a great fitting mask. And number three, make sure you're routinely checking your temperature. So, what's your temperature like? Oh, you remember if it's greater than 100.4, then you don't need to be going to church. And call your church. Call ahead of time and say, hey, what's the going back to church recommendations? Like, what are the rules that you guys are going to be implementing? Is the church usher going to be standing out there checking the temp? And are they going to tell you that you can't come in because 100.4? And you sat outside in the car for such a while that your body temperature went up, but the usher may not be medical. They may not say, hey, we'll just sit there, we'll recheck it. And then a lot of churches will have to diminish their capacity, like 25% of their normal capacity. So a lot of churches may not be able to have the same amount of people in there. Hey, Mr. Bobby, have the same amount of people in there as usual. So social distancing is real. Stay 6 feet away from people that you do not live in the same house with. Number two, wear your mask. Number three, know your temperature. Check your temperature. Somebody may be at the door of your church saying, hey, let's check your temp. Well, no, you can't come in because your temp is 100. And don't get bad about it because you feel like you should be able to go to church because you got up and got dressed and you drove 25 minutes to get there. But if you have a fever, you're putting everyone in that place at jeopardy. You've seen the news reportings where some pastors have been sick. Choir members have been sick. People have gone to funerals, and half of the people in the building died from that. It's real, guys. Just because you see all the protesting on TV and all that crowd gathering does not mean that coronavirus has gone anywhere. Yes, it's getting warmer, but we don't know what it's going to do during this warm time. We're unsure if it's going to diminish like the flu does, if it's going to mutate more and be like, we ready? We still here? We do not know what this virus is going to be doing, so we have to be mindful of that and treat ourselves accordingly. We want to treat our mankind like we want to be treated. If you knew you had a fever, if you knew that you had already had the diagnosis of the coronavirus in the last 2-3 weeks, you don't need to be out there. You don't need to be out there. You need to be continue to watch church online, or continuing to listen to the free conference call that everyone is out there doing. So social distancing is real. 6 feet apart is the recommendation. 2, wear your mask and wear your mask correct. Number 3, know that your temperature may be checked. They may say you got to go in one way, you got to go out another way. Bring your patience. Bring your flexibility. Bring your peace, guys, okay? Bring that and just say, hey, we're going to go with the flow. Even we're coming to the doctor. I'm like, y'all, I don't even know what it's going to be like. We can't overcrowd each other, and we just have to take our time. It's going to be slower than usual. Get in there and get out. Be flexible and try not to complain. It's hard for your pastors. It's hard for the board. It's hard for the deacons. It's hard for everybody. All right. And then ask questions. Ask, so what is the rules for if you have children? What's the rules for children's church? Are they going to have children's church? If your child can't sit down in regular church and you have to go to children's church so you can concentrate, but children's church is canceled, guess what you may want to say? We'll sit this one out and we'll continue to watch it on from home. Because you have to remember, is your child going to keep that mask on if you're not standing right there reminding them? Is your child going to keep 6 feet distance? Is your child going to be touching everybody, in their face and in their mouth? Like these are things that you have to be mindful of, especially if you have little small kids. So be mindful that you have to be flexible. Ask, call ahead and say, hey, we don't have an open date, but what are the plans looking like? And I don't think any church will be offended by that. Look on the website often and see what they're recommending. Say, hey, we're thinking about this, or we don't have any idea at this point when we're going to open back up. Check back later. So be mindful. Keep your finger on the pulse. Go to online church. Watch it on Facebook. Watch it on TV. Watch it wherever. Stay connected during this time. Depression is at an all-time high. Anxiety is at an all-time high. We talked about post-traumatic stress last week. And especially for the African-American community, churches where we can just go there and we can just touch and agree. Literally, we want to touch and agree. All of that's going to be different. Then that may be sad for some people, but be encouraged that COVID-19 is still here and we want to keep you safe. And last but not least, if you are high risk, stay at home. Don't go for the sake of going to see how they doing it. Have your girlfriends to go and let them tell you all about it, okay? Be mindful that this thing is still killing people every day. Yes, more people have recovered than have died, but would you want to be that one to get it and die? Just for the sake of saying that you went that Sunday? The church is here. Remember, the church is here, not the building. So if the building never opens for the rest of the year, you send your tithes, you send your offerings, and you let the Lord dwell here in your heart. Okay, guys? So be mindful. Social distancing is baby. Social distancing is babe. Even my baby, I had a meeting and the man showed up and Zoe came running outside and she said, Mommy, you're not 6 feet apart and you don't have your mask. I said, thank you so much. So talk about things. Talk about how things should be. So social distancing. Wear your mask. Wear your mask. If you wear your mask, always keep your mask in your car. Keep your hand sanitizer. All of that close. Check your temperature. Know that there may be some rules and some set points that you have to pass before you can get into church. And don't go up there with an attitude. Do not be cussing the church people out because you drove 30 minutes or you drove an hour to come to church not knowing that you were sick. Make sure that you know the role if you have little children. What's the rules going to be for children's church? And govern yourselves accordingly. This is not all about you. This is not all about you. What we do What I do affects you. What you do affects me. So going out there being sick, taking your babies when they're sick just to get a good word because you want to be in the sanctuary is bad. That is selfish, okay? And then lastly, if you're high risk, remember high blood pressure, diabetes, have a history of cancer, have heart disease. All of these things are reasons that you should stay home. Take care of yourself, right? Call your church, ask questions, look on your church's website, see what you can find. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Rules will be different. Things will be changed. The church is in your heart, okay? It's Dr. Kre. This is the latest edition of the Dr. Kre and Me show. I wanted to come on here to help educate you so that you can live a healthier, happier whole life. I feel like when you know better, you can do better. So, hey, tell a friend, share this message. Remember, the church lives in you. Watch it online. Pay your tithes. You know, get all those feels because we're not going to be able to touch each other like we want to when we get in there anyway. So, I challenge you to check on someone you have not talked to in a while. Let them know you're thinking about them and let them know that you're all right. And if you have not done so, follow us on Facebook, my Brownstone Healthcare page. That is my practice. I am in Birmingham, Alabama. Again, this is Dr. Kre, your board certified family medicine physician. I am so happy to be able to share with you guys. Share the post, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 2:30. Thank you so much. Have a great day.